Hi, my name is Gayatri Agnew, and I'm the founder of Mother's Monday. I'm thrilled to be a part of Father's Friday and the incredible work that Fathering Together, the Black Fathers Foundation, and Soy Super Papa are doing to help dads show up and feel supported to support their families. As the daughter of a dad who wasn't around all that much, it means so much to me that my husband is able to be an active dad and a part of my kids' lives on a daily basis. Watching this and seeing this is deeply rewarding and it's personal. And as the founder of Mother's Monday, I know that success for women in the workplace is only possible when their partners and when dads step up at home. So thank you all for being here with us today. For the closing panel, I'm thrilled for this conversation. We're bringing together dads from around the world to highlight the ways they're empowering their children to do amazing things in the world.
All right, good morning to everyone. Greetings, I am Tee and I am calling in from Dubai. Would like to thank all you fathers from all over the world to join us for this exciting session of fathering together from around the world to get different perspectives. So we will first, perhaps we could start with introductions, a little bit about yourself, maybe a fun fact about you, about your family and why fatherhood is so important to you. So we'll go ahead and we'll get started with GP.
Right. Hi, Dad. I'm from Nepal, JP Suvedi. Married. I'm married. Been married 12 years. My English is very some hard for me. English is some hard for me. So I have two kids, 10 years old daughter and 6 years old son. Working here in a private company. That's all.
Thank you, GP. Thank you. Go ahead and move on to Laston.
Well, thank you, T. I am Laston Segula, like I said before. I am from Malawi, the Central African country. I work. I'm an editor of the Hansard at the Parliament of Malawi. And I've got two kids, both daughters, Ruth and Sarah. Ruth is 10. Sarah is 4. Beautiful kids. I love them so much. So in short, I'm a dad.
Thank you, Laston. And we'll go ahead and move on to Gary. Last and not least, Gary from Ireland.
How you doing, T? Guys, how's form? My name is Gary Barrett. I live in Courtmacsherry, West Cork in Ireland. With my partner, we have 5 children. Ours is a blended family. So we have from 15, 13, 10, 6, and 4. So we have the full spectrum of everything in family life. Work-wise, I'm Ireland's only male antenatal teacher. I work in search and rescue at sea on Courtmacsherry lifeboat. I also do some work for the Irish justice system by mentoring youths and parents who are in trouble with the law system. And a few other bits and pieces that I do as well. So, you know, as they say in the old country, time is money. Yeah, that's me.
All right, thank you, fathers. We'll go ahead and kind of do a little bit of a deep dive more about you. And if you don't mind, we'll just go in that order. We'll start with GP, Laston, and then Gary. And if I could ask you for a favor, if you're not speaking, if you could kindly just keep it on mute, that will help with the audio as well. So thank you for that. So GP, we could get started with you, and GP, if you like, I could also, if it was well, I could do the translation, or you could go directly in English as well, however you're comfortable. So we'll ask about kids. What is your favorite thing to do with them in Nepal?
Well, thanks. I'm not understanding your question.
Oh, अच्छा, आपको हिंदी मालूम है?
Yes, sir.
हिंदी आपको आती है?
Yes, आता है सर.
ठीक है, अच्छा.
आता है.
हाँ, ये भी बताएं आप सब बच्चों के साथ सबसे पसंदीदा चीजें क्या है करने के लिए नेपाल में?
सर मैं अब खेलता हूँ बच्चों के साथ. I like to play cricket, tennis, volleyball games.
A lot of sports out there. और आप जो है, the kind of to add on to that, how do you balance between work and parenting? How do you find time between doing what we have to do on a daily basis, work, and also be able to find time with them? कि आप वक्त कैसे निकालते हैं अपने बच्चों के लिए और जो बाकी काम है उनके लिए?
Yeah, so it's some hard for me. I work 6 days in a week. I manage for time is enough for them.
Yeah, I guess you're able to find time for things that matter.
Yes, sir.
So, and last, move on to you. Maybe same questions. How do you make time for your kids? What are some of the favorite activities that you do? And maybe we could even generalize a little bit to Malawi. What are some of the activities
sure.
that fathers do with their kids?
Well, I will start on a personal point of view. Well, I work 5 days a week. That's from Monday through Friday. That means the moment that I have with my kids during the week, it's just early in the morning and late in the evening. But usually I make time for them, say, over the weekends. I make sure I'm available. I don't go anywhere during weekends. If I'm leaving, I need to tag them along. I cannot just leave them at home. Only when their mom is like, no, let them leave, that's when I can leave them. But however, I move around with them. They love taking a drive with me, sightseeing, bed sighting. They love, going to the lake. We've got a beautiful lake in Malawi. So I usually take them to the lake and, we come back home. They love pizza. We go by, the Pizza Inn and all that. But I make sure that I'm available, irrespective of the situation. I'm available. Every weekend I'm with them. Before they go to bed, I'm with them. And before, I leave for work, I make sure that I, get to know that they're okay. Now, generally, on a point of view of the country itself, we've got, or our society is different in some way, in the sense that, excuse me, it is divided. It's in tiers. We've got the upper class, the middle class, and the lower class. So all these people, deal with children differently. I live in a suburb. I live in an area where, we are mixed. We've got upper class people, we've got the middle class people, as well as the lower class people. So we mix, we mingle, we know everything about each and every tier of the society. So we just mix. We make sure that we don't show that this person is up there, this person is in the middle and under there. We just do it normally as parents could do. So irrespective of the tiers that we have or strata that is there, but we make sure that we are there for our kids. Except for the lower class sometimes, because people need to fend for their children, need to fend for themselves and everything. So it's sometimes hard, and a parent would sometimes be, cross, angry. Children would be very far away from the dads because they know their dads are always, angry. But we make sure that we are around. Yeah, that's how we. Personally, that's how I make time for my kids, and generally, that's how dads across the country make time for their kids as well.
That's beautiful. Thank you, Laston, for that comprehensive response. Move on to Gary. How do you make time for your kids? You have so many. It's a beautiful thing. And what is your favorite thing to do with them? And then how do you balance work and parenting?
Well, my friend, there's an old saying: we work to live or live to work. I only work enough to earn what we need and a bit extra for those nice things. What we favorite thing to do? Jesus, everything. We have great crack together. But the beach would be a particular favorite because it holds interest for all the kids, like a little bit of surfing, crab, going pooling on the rock shore, looking for crabs and things like that, building sandcastles, and just generally going around, hanging out and go for walks and stuff together. But yeah, the beach now would be a particular favorite. Yeah, I'd say a not so comprehensive answer to your question, my friend. There you go.
I mean, beach is a great way to exert the energy. So I'm with you. The beach for us is not too far away. We live a mile away from the beach, so we're always
Cool.
there with our daughter. Yep.
Yeah.
She comes home, she sleeps really well.
Oh, same with ours. Like,
yeah.
if we want them to sleep,
yeah,
the beach is the way to go. Oh, and walk there and walk back. Well,
there you go.
Usually ends up with me carrying a couple, but there you go.
Great. So now moving over to Nepal, GP Sahib.
जी सर.
How आप school में शामिल हैं अपने बच्चों के साथ? Are you involved in your kids' school activities? I know right now with COVID it's a little weird, but some schools are closed, some are open. But yeah, are you involved in your kids' schooling?
Yes sir, कभी-कभी मैं जाता हूँ स्कूल में बच्चा के.
जी. आप वहाँ पे स्कूल में जाते हैं, उनकी एक्टिविटीज में शामिल होते हैं?
जी सर, कभी-कभी जाना पड़ता है ना, मीटिंग में भी जाना पड़ता है.
अच्छा, तो yeah, GP is very
one time.
Monthly
one time, maybe one time in month. जाना पड़ता है स्कूल में.
Okay. तो और जो है, आप कैसे अपने बच्चों की मदद कर सकते हैं अपनी कम्युनिटी में? कैसे आप मदद करते हैं उनकी? कैसे आप इन्वॉल्व रहते हैं, शामिल होते हैं उनकी एक्टिविटीज में?
उनकी एक्टिविटी में तो सर सब शामिल होता हूँ ना. उनके साथ खेलते.
So yep, just to translate, GP is very much involved in his kids' schooling and attending meetings, school sports, other events on a monthly basis. So he seems to have his hands pretty full with
yes,
the kids' schooling activities.
Yes, sir. Agree.
Last thing, how about you? How do you advocate for the kids? Are you involved in their schooling, other community events, to help your children and their friends and other children in your community?
Well, yes, I take a greater part in the lives of my kids. I am one of the we've got an executive committee at their school, and I happen to be an executive member of that committee. I make sure that whatever is happening at their school, I'm present. Be it sports, be it parents teachers association meetings, I'm always there. And because I work with the legislature here in Malawi, that's the Parliament of Malawi, I'm able to advocate for some policies for the school and everything, or drafting of them. It's quite important to me. So yes, I take a greater part in their school. It's it's very important to me, and I cannot miss that one for anything. For anything, I love being there. Yeah, so it's quite important.
In Malawi, do most parents, do they send their kids to public schools or private schools, or how does that work?
Well, the majority of people send their kids to public schools. It's well, some percentage that send their kids to private schools. Of course, I send mine to private schools. They're both schooling at a single school or learning at a single school. So yes, a majority is send their kids to, you know, public schools. I did learn in the public school myself. Yeah. So yeah, sure.
Yeah. No, thank you for that.
You're welcome.
And Gary, how about from Ireland? What are you seem to be kind of advocating through a couple of different venues that you're involved in through the justice system. Could you kind of elaborate a little bit more on that, and maybe on the schooling aspect? How
Sure,
are you
yeah.
able to manage advocacy work for them in the schools?
Well, regarding the schools, like obviously I go to all everything that's on, whether it be it plays, go to meetings, all that crack. In the actual going into the school part, I would organize myself and some of say my crewmates, and we would pop into their classes in our lifeboat rescue gear, so the kids can see and talk about their father, and literally go to everything that they're involved in. On the advocacy side, or my mentoring side, in the justice system, that's for kids who are in trouble with the law, and the judge would give them one more chance, and that would be, say, to come to the likes of myself, and we would mentor them for a couple of years and hopefully get them on the right side, away from the dark side. And is there another question, T?
That does. As a follow-up question, how kind of that alternative justice system, how effective have you seen it be? Do you think most times it works out when these kids are given a second chance?
Oh God, yeah, man. They're absolutely every child benefits from it. I do it from two aspects. I do it with another aspect with it's called the Youth Advocate Program, and it's with kids and families who mentor them before they get into trouble. So we go and we'd basically arrive preparing to leave. So we would create a circle of support for that child or maybe the parent, just so when we go, or when I go, that there's a circle of support there for the child to encourage the child to stay away from things that might be naughty, and just, you know, so the child knows that there's a father figure, there. Like a father figure can be anybody. It could be like a stepfather, it could be a grandfather, uncle, whatever, guardian. You don't have to be a daddy, or you don't have to be a biological.
Sure.
It's just all you need to be is the willingness to be there for them, the consistency of it, and love. That's really it.
Would you say, this is kind of a general question to for everyone, is if when you're kind of dealing with this type of population, youth population, is it accurate to say that in most cases they don't have a strong father figure in their life? Is that what's prompting them to kind of go down these alternative paths in their lives?
Absolutely. Well, there's no guide. There's no guide in their life. If there's no guide in their life, you don't know where you're going to go. So the path, to do a Star Wars quote again, the path of the dark side is a very lucrative in their minds, and they see other young guys or young girls running around the place with a few pounds in their pocket, a few euro in their pocket, and they're like driving a fast car and this, that, and the other. Or they're even just able to buy chips in the chipper, or, you know, they can get stuff you can't. So that's very tempting in kids' eyes, just to go down that route. It can be as small as you like, or it can be as large as you like. The temptation, you know, the temptation to be bold is big. So if you haven't got a mentor or a father figure in your life, you're on a downward spiral already. You're missing out on so much, just children wise. I believe anyway. I believe that.
How about GP and Laston? How about in your communities? Is that similar in your communities? Do you see that issue as well, where, you know, you have these troubled kids and you kind of look behind the scenes, and most times there's a missing father figure? Are there any kind of unique issues that your communities are dealing with?
Well, I'm coming in because I thought you'd, first of all, direct it to GP than myself. But well, if that's okay, I can come in.
Yes,
this time
please.
around.
Absolutely.
Great. Sure. I think these problems are universal. Hearing Gary speak about what happens in his community, you know, I feel compelled to agree with him, because without a father, there's no direction for the kids. Usually, a father being around, you know, you set some standards and some boundaries, you know, around the kids and everything. So here in Malawi, we've got issues to do with drug and substance abuse, rape cases, thievery, such kind of things. The reason is that you'd find out a lot of culprits in the SEM are those that, you know, lack a father figure in their lives. A majority, we are not saying everyone, but a majority of them. We have seen in some circumstances that a father would be around, but they would even lack that leadership ability in them, and their kids would just be, you know, like that. But generally, a majority of people, or kids, children that, you know, go around doing mischief, it's because there's that lack of father figure available. And I'm so happy that Gary, you know, is doing a lot in his community in relation to trying to, you know, recover the lost hope which was there among those kids and everything. That's exactly what we're hoping to do in Malawi as well. My community and, well, generally the whole society is just gone talk of drug and substance abuse. Man, that makes me sad. It's so disheartening. A lot of people of my age, you know, as I speak, are in jail. You know, they have not made good decisions because they lacked someone to guide them in their lives, especially a dad. A lot of us lack responsibility, and we have laid astray our own kids. It's so saddening to note. So Malawi, yes, I think this problem is just universal. We need to do something about it, and we need to do something about that now. If we had, you know, the chance to organize ourselves as dads, irrespective of whether there is a divorce or something else, but still, we need to come up together and build something to try to correct this problem. We've got so many things that I would suggest, but I know this is coming in the next questions. So for the time being, I agree with Gary. This thing is universal. Thank you.
Thank you, Laston. And moving on to kind of the next question, Laston, that you alluded to, is in your communities, what do dads need to do to be better dads? You know, I'm sure the answers will probably be similar across the communities, but it'd be interesting to kind of hear your perspectives, because you all come from such diverse backgrounds, different regions of the world.
Yes.
What would be a piece of advice you'd give to a father, let's say a new father like myself, or somebody who aspires to be a father? If they were to ask you from your community, what do I need to do to be a better dad? What would you tell them?
Man, the road is not easy. Not easy. Okay. But one thing at a time, we manage, you know, responsibility. The very moment that we have done something, we know we've, you know, a kid is on the way. We need to rejoice. It's a life that's coming, you know. So we need to take up that responsibility and say, you know, I'm no longer a child. I'm no longer a kid. I can no longer, you know, fool around. I need to take responsibility. It's quite important. So by being someone who is a role model and speaking out for that matter, you know, so that you get to recognize that you're a dad, you're a father, you need to take responsibility of your children and everything that you've, you know, caused in the world. The very moment that you stand up and speak out, trying to, you know, call others to join you in the cause, that matters. But the first thing is to accept you're a dad, irrespective of the circumstances. You're a dad. But the second thing is, what more can I do to make sure that I become a dad that every other kid would want? So that's the most important thing to me, to stand up and speak out to say I'm a dad and I need to take responsibility of my children and my family and trying to, you know, call others to join you in the cause. So that's the first thing that I would do. And by that, you know, like we are doing here, it's a community. This community, I would really love if we had it here in Malawi. And that's my very, you know, starting point. I've already talked to a lot of dads. I've got so many friends that are, you know, fathers. I've already told them about this idea, and we have started meeting, and we organize community meetings like soccer games. I play soccer, so I take advantage of such kind of activities, and you know, to talk to my friends about being a dad and coming together to share problems and find solutions to the problems that we go through. And generally, it's all about resources. So how can we go about that problem? It's an issue to do with you know, startups. I, for one, I've got so much land, and I do a lot of farming. You know, so I use a lot of resources to get my friends together and try to, you know, give them some startups. Some of them have done better, and I believe through that I can do a lot to my community. I can do a lot to my community, and I'm hoping a lot of dads around the world. That's the best thing that we can do. You know, coming together and do something that's so productive to our families. Yeah,
Amen.
I think that.
Amen. Thank you, Laston. That's you seem to have your hands full out in
Oh
Malawi.
yeah,
So
oh yeah.
keep up the great work. GP,
Thank
how
you.
about in Nepal? What is some advice that you'd give to fathers in Nepal to be better fathers? How do you become a better father? हाँ जी जीपी साहब, आप नेपाल में जो है, जो पिताज हैं वहाँ पे, वो कैसे अच्छे पिता रह सकते हैं, कैसे वो अच्छे पिता बन सकते हैं?
There is very important roles in a child life, sir.
Yep.
We can teach them to stand up for other child.
Yep. बिल्कुल सही कह रहे हैं आप.
Yes, sir. I'm listening, sir.
So in Nepal, how can dads help each other? How could they help each other learn, you know, learn new skills, how to be better fathers, how to build communities for dads? In Nepal, how can that be done? नेपाल में जो है, जो पिताजी हैं, जो फादर्स हैं, वो एक दूसरों की कैसी मदद कर सकते हैं, कैसे एक दूसरों की वो हेल्प कर सकते हैं, और वो कैसे अच्छी कम्युनिटी फादरहुड के लिए बना सकते हैं?
बनाते हैं सर, उसमें
G.
Okay.
So I think GP has definitely some strong ambitions to create a strong community for fathers in Nepal, and is working diligently to create that type of environment over there. So
Yes, sir.
thank you for that, GP.
Yes.
Gary, how about from your perspective? What's some advice you could give to other fathers in your community to be better fathers?
Well, what might be of help to the boys there is to date I've started up a weekly daddy and their children group. So I host that, organize it and host it myself. And it's just a group of dads hanging out together with their kids. I'm lucky enough the area that I have, the venue that I have is a soft play area and a cafe. So basically the kids can go and play in the area while we have a cup of tea, cup of coffee, chit chat, just like the ladies do when they go to their coffee mornings. We do the same thing, but there are no coffee mornings for dads. So except ours, you know what I mean? So I that's quite a popular thing that I do. And I also do a daddy and their children walks in a couple of towns. I'm starting that up at the moment. And basically you, me, kids, boogies, walking, whatever it is, infants, 10-year-olds, whatever your age your child is, but to go out for a walk with your father and all the other fathers. And I'm lucky enough where I live, it's very beautiful on the coast. So we do a coastline walk there and back and have some water, maybe some sweets and a cup of tea at the end of it. But, you know, it basically the kid gets to hang out with their father and sees all these other kids hanging out with their father and normalizes it. Everything is normalized in their eyes, no matter what the background of the child and their parent. With regards, what do dads need to do to be better in what did you say? What do dads in your community need to be better dads?
Exactly.
Right. Okay. I'll do a comprehensive one on this one.
Okay. Good.
Like, I'm the eldest of 8 children. That's including 3 sets of twins. I grew up around babies, caring for them, my own mother and my own mother. As I grew older, I watched my siblings become parents themselves. The boys stepping into fatherhood, and I looked forward to becoming a dad myself. So when I started a relationship with my own girl, Laura, who had 3 young children from a previous relationship, you know, as time went on, we moved in together and I became a step parent to those kids. I thought I was finding my feet as a father. My own dad was like an abusive alcoholic. He was absent, say, through much of my own childhood. So, and I stepped into his shoes many times to support my mother and to care for my siblings. So when Laura fell pregnant with our first child, I was over the moon. We planned the home birth together, and I went to every midwife appointment with her. And however much experience I felt I had, being a big brother, being an uncle, being a stepfather, even, nothing prepared me for the explosion of emotions and responsibility that came when I saw my own first biological child. You know, she was born into my hands. I was the first person to see her in this world. I saw her take her first breath. And although to me it was the most beautiful, amazing thing that ever happened, I felt completely at sea in regards that I realized there was no frame of reference, no idea how to channel my love for this little being into real practical care. I felt very alone and isolated with no one to talk to, ask advice or, you know, from, or to cry with type of thing. So I did my best to support Laura. And I did great. I know I'm a great dad, but at times I felt I was just making it all up as I went along, and I wished I had someone to turn to for support. But like, this is not the type of thing that men ask from each other. Mm-hmm. So when my next child, Brock, he was born also at home and also into my arms, unassisted by a midwife. Although this time I felt more confident because like I'd been in the battlefields type of thing. I know what was going on. I still wish that there was more support for me, like as a man, as a father. So what do dads need to do? The answer in my mind is simple. Engage. That's all you got to do. Just engage with your kids, engage with your family. Like your family is everybody. You, your partner, the kids. If you have 20 kids or one kid, always make a little bit of time for each and every one of them. No matter how busy you are, just engage with your child. You're just engage. That's just the simplest word the simplest piece of advice I can give is just engage. Thank you.
Beautiful. That's beautiful. Beautiful way to end it. And I've learned just within the last half an hour a tremendous amount from all three of you. And I really appreciate you taking the time out to come have a conversation with us about fathering. And I'm sure this video will definitely be well received by a lot of audience members worldwide. Is there anything else that you'd like to share with them before we end?
Well, can I come in first?
Certainement.
Please.
Okay. Well, I'm so much thankful for the opportunity to meet my fellow dads around the world. I don't take this for granted. Gary and GP, it's quite important. And UT, that's quite important to me, and I don't take this for granted. What I really wanted to finally say is that, like Gary says, to engage is exactly what we want to do at the moment. Taking responsibility and knowing that one has become a dad, and in this case, whether there is family or not, our kids need us a lot. We need to chart a way for them forward. And we need to ask ourselves, what kind of way do we need our kids to take? That is quite important to me. So let us take responsibility. Let us engage with whoever is there. Gary's talked about having an abusive dad. Mine wasn't abusive, but he was a serious guy. He's still a serious guy. But I was able at that time to write him a letter. He's coming back for lunch. I write him a letter instead of just going to him and ask him to be soft. I wrote him a letter and left it on his lap. He read it. He cried. What it means is that he knew how important to be a father to a son is. So let us engage, take responsibility, and involve as many fathers as we can in this cause, so that we save so many lives that are getting lost anyhow. So yes, I'm so thankful to meet you guys and my friend GP in Nepal. I hope you do great, man, out there. And Gary, we all look up to you now. You already started something that's so quite important. I've taken a page or two out of what you do, and I will try to localize some of those things and see what we can do. So I'm so thankful, and thank you so much. And to you, T, you've been a very great, facilitator of this meeting. I look forward to getting in touch with you again, surely.
Thank you very much, Laston. And I think Gary, were you also about to say something as well?
Yeah, I'll throw in my 10 cents worth.
Please.
Right. Like dads need to help each other how to learn. So like I believe there's an enormous need for dads who will teach other men about fatherhood. Like currently in my country anyway, there's very little ongoing support for fathers. My long-term goal is to provide a network of supports for new and existing dads, like covering everything from the practicalities of birth, being involved in the birth of your child, to caring for an infant, older child, to legal rights obligations, and the emotional impact of becoming a dad. I'm passionate about fatherhood, and I want to empower other men to experience everything fatherhood can be. My primary focus is in supporting fathers and in helping them navigate through issues specific to fatherhood, whilst understanding, like, say, women's issues and mothering and the best ways that men can support their partners through these times. In the past 3 decades, there's been like incredible leaps in the understanding and popular knowledge of maternal mental health and family well-being, and rightly so. However, the understanding of the impact of parenthood on fathers is much less documented and examined, you know, and as a result, there are few, if any, supports for men. Fathers need to be seen and heard. They need to be valued and included as parents. Like, to do this, society needs to understand the struggles that they face and offer supports and dialogue around these type of matters. The changes and challenges that new fathers face from, say, when they're told the good news, during the pregnancy, afterwards, you know, it can all be very confusing and painful and stressful. So, like, the only message that society seems to give to men about being a father is that, like, men need to be strong and to be ready and able to support the family during what is a time of increased emotional vulnerability and added financial burdens. Like since I became first a stepfather and then a father, that's when I developed my interest in pregnancy and birth and parenting. And I'd been shocked to find there was so little support for fathers in the current, say, Irish maternal care system. So, like, we first need to better understand the challenges and the critical changes that happen to a man and his family when he becomes a parent. Then we need to put into supports in place, you know, for men to help them, you know, become the father that they'd like to be. Like, becoming a new parent is a major milestone in anyone's life. With it brings, like, say, there's the unexpected biological, financial, psychological, and relationship changes, as well as the need to learn a whole new set of practical skills. Now, like, like some of the practical skills that men need to learn and be taught are like changing nappies. It took me a long time coming to term with changing a dirty nappy.
I'd never done one before.
Oh man, you would. Oh, it's.
I never did it until the birth of my daughter. That was the first time I ever had experience changing one.
And then you become hooked in meconium. You know, the newborn poo. You're like, it's gross beforehand, and then after you're like, oh, I'll do it. And you're like, I don't know what it is, but it's like, it is addictive.
Well, it's showing, it's seeing the peace that they get, or the comfort that they get after you change a nappy on them, and the immediate, at least for me, it's like the immediate gratification of, you see discomfort, you change it, and you get you get the instant results right there.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. It's fantastic. It's like skin to skin, you know, when the baby is born.
Yeah.
It's like that all the time. It's what you call it. Like, men, they need to know about breastfeeding, bottle feeding, baby care, baby wearing, first aid, biological changes. Like, thankfully,
all those
there's
things
fantastic...
matter.
Oh Jesus, yeah,
absolutely.
Like a few more, I don't know. Like, there's things about, like, do you know that a few months before childbirth, testosterone levels start to lower as prolactin and a few other hormones increase to prepare the new dad for the imminent arrival. Like, these hormonal changes are there to equip you with new crucial skills to care for a newborn. You know, you're developing the deep capacity to bond emotionally. Your sensitivity is increased, and greater responsiveness to another person's needs are increased. These are natural hormonal changes that happen to a man, as everybody knows about all the ones that happen to a woman.
Yeah,
and how they adapt.
I didn't know about the one to the fathers. I didn't even know that.
Oh God, yeah. It starts a few months beforehand. Like, you start nesting as well. Like, you're looking at how to make things more comfortable. You're looking at stair gates, and you're looking at cushions, and you're looking at all sorts of stuff. Just psychological changes.
Right.
You know, you could have been through an awful lot in your life, and how not to be that guy, you know. But at the end of the day, like, there's relationship changes, financial challenges, Jesus, all these things, they have to be addressed.
Fundamental changes,
fundamental changes, and like, we need educators and support services to talk about how tough this transition is. And you know, it's easy to see why few men totally
this is exactly what we're doing, you know, with the help of yourself, Laston, GP, I mean, all of us. This is how change starts, is through initiatives like this.
And this is like you see guys and they turn to drink, alcohol, and drug use, and like suffer from mental health problems. But they need supports such as ourselves to be able to, you know, to talk. I do a chat line, like a text line, a free WhatsApp text line for nationally, for dads. They do, you know, they can text each other or text me or whatever, and you know, if they have a hassle or they don't know how to do something, they text and go, "How do you change the nappy?" for example.
Yeah.
And look,
and not be judged for it. Not be judged for it.
No. And everybody's there
to help. Anything. Neutral, there to help, for sure.
Yeah.
We're
it's free, you know. So these are free services that I put out, and hopefully do somebody some good. Anyway, I'm very comprehensive, as Laston likes to say. No worries.
Very comprehensive. GP, any final thoughts from Nepal? Let me see if it might have been muted. Okay. All right. If not, I think we will end the session then.
Okay.
GP. Did you have anything else to add?
Thanks for participating with me here.
Thank you so much. Thank you, GP, so much for joining us. Laston, really appreciate your thoughts.
Yeah,
sure.
Gary,
may I quickly jump in there too, my friend?
Communities.
No worries. I have a website there called newdadireland.com.
Newdadireland.com.
Yeah, okay. Everything on it is free. Everything I do is free.
Can you repeat that one? Can you repeat that one, please? It's new what?
newdadireland.com.
Okay. Okay.
And there's lots of tools and advice and support available on that. If you go, and it's a free service.
Okay.
So just to get the word out there.
No, appreciate it. I really hope to have another engagement dialogue with you, or maybe even better, see you in person one of these days. So please do keep in touch. Definitely. And bless you all for what you do. Have a great rest of the day, and we will keep the dialogue going.
Yeah, you too, man. Have a good day.
Yes, definitely. Take care, everyone.
Have a great day,
Take care, fathers. See you later.
God bless.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.